So, what is effectiveness, okay? We're going to talk about, and we're going to be talking about the effectiveness at two levels, and this is part of the trick. Effective conservation organizations and effective conservationist people, okay? They have different interests, and that's the first thing that you need to understand. There's going to be always tension. There's always going to be tension between you and your organization, because they have different interests, and that's part of our challenge. How to align both interests to have a productive life and happy life, okay? So effectiveness, and this comes from the book, I think you can see it as the story of the goose and the golden geese, okay? Effectiveness is how to be able to produce golden eggs while you take care of the goose, okay? So at an organizational level, okay, is reintroducing rhinos, bringing back green wingback macaws, jaguars, creating new parks, managing fire, building new schools for children. Those are the golden eggs. Those are conservation outcomes, and that's for what we are measured as an organization. But the goose at the organizational level is the culture, how the people are motivated to reduce the level of people just dropping out of the organization, avoiding silos and one department fighting with the other. That's the goose, okay? At the level of people, okay, it becomes more complex. And this is because people are more complex than organizations. We want more things. We want to be happy with our family. We want to get along with our friends. We want to learn. We want to be good in the job. We want to be good participants of our organizations. But we are more complex. So for some people, a golden egg is to have a car. For other people, is to go to university. For other people, is to have a house. For other people, is to have children. For other people, is to have good relation with your spouse. But also to have a good position in your organization, okay? So that's the golden eggs, but then you need to take care of you. So to be aligned, as he said, okay? So how can we produce the golden eggs as people, but also while we take care of ourselves, okay? And we're going to talk about that. Effectiveness at both levels. The eggs for the organization and the golden eggs for the people, okay? So, guys, the conflict is unavoidable. So don't worry if you feel tension with your organization, because that's life. And you can turn it into productive conflict, and we talk about that already, okay? But that's part of the challenge. There's going to be always a tension between the interests of your organization that they are always more simple than your interests. It sounds like a paradox. One would think that organization is bigger, but for some people it's selling cars. For other people it's to sell petrol. For other people for organization is to make parks. But African parks as an organization is much simpler than any of the African parks member in their interests, okay? So this is the idea of the 8 habits, okay? The first thing is to avoid dependence, okay? What is avoiding dependence? To be going, okay, this is what my wife wants, this is what my children want, this is what my boss wants, and you go with no, you are like a weather vane, okay? You go north, you go east, and you're totally reactive. You have no control of your life. You react, okay? This is government, neighbors, church, my team players. That's what you want to avoid to become effective, both as an organization and as an individual. So a logic goes, you move from dependence to independence, and then the next level is interdependence. But you cannot reach interdependence without being independent. That's part of the trick. What I'm telling here is nothing mine. What I'm doing is translating and summarizing what the book says, which has great wisdom. First, you need to be solid, okay? To have your own center of gravity, to feel like you are yourself, okay? There's the alignment, as you were saying. So you can get to the next level. It's not enough to be independent, because we talk about it. Nobody's independent. So you need to create productive interdependent relations, but until you become truly independent, you cannot be interdependent. And the goal is to avoid being like a pinball, going from one place to another, job, family, friends, and you have no control, okay? That would be dependence. It's very difficult to be effective if you're like a pinball, okay? So, you will see, and habits are not theories or concepts. It's something that you need to nurture and repeat and repeat and repeat. That's a habit, okay? So, compared to what we've seen in the other book, which is theory and principles, this is things that you need to repeat and turn into. The first one that is, if we talk about organizations, be outcome-oriented for nature. It means that the best conservation, because I'm a freak and I like analyzing organizations, the best conservation organizations, the most effective ones, in my opinion, are the ones that really focus on producing golden eggs for nature. And those golden eggs are rhinos, jaguars, hectares, are not plans, management plans, grand strategies, you talk to children, all those things are important. But those are means to an end. And the people, the organizations who are here, what they share is that concept of being goal-oriented. Okay? They focus in a territory, in landscape, wherever, sanctuary, they own it, they don't own it, they do delegated management, or they do technical support, but they focus on the golden eggs, outcomes, okay? Because there are other organizations that I'm not saying that they are bad or not useful. They focus on means to an end. Grand strategies, big plans, consultancies. But they don't produce those golden eggs. They produce kind of steps toward the golden eggs. So effective organizations, they focus on results for nature. Now, the advice to those organizations is don't invest your energy in telling other organizations what they should do for nature. There's lots of conservationists and conservation organizations that their focus is telling others what to do, instead of doing themselves that. No, you shouldn't do reintroductions that way. No, you shouldn't do the extinction. No, you shouldn't do fire. You shouldn't do, just focus on what you have to do. Focus on your results. Put your energy in providing outcomes. And focus on the actual impact of your organization on the ground. At the end, the results are going to be in Serengeti, in Gonyaresu, in Manu, in Iberá, on the ground. Not in Johannesburg, not in Frankfurt, not in London, okay? So, regarding conservationists as individuals, and that's something that, I don't know if it's going to come later from Jorge, but that's something that's part of this conversation. All of us, okay, we have areas of things that are our concern and things that they are not our concern. So we have our circle of concern and things that are outside of our concern. Okay, and then we have things that are under our control. Okay, effective people, which in this case would be effective people doing conservation, what they do is they focus in the area of control. Don't put your energy in complaining about things and worrying about things that are your concern, but you have little control on them. Focus on what you have control. And kind of the final result is that the more you focus on what you have control, compared to the organizations that they focus on doing things on the ground with equivalent, the larger it becomes an area of influence. So, and by focusing on, we are going to reintroduce giant anteaters, that increases our area of influence, and then we can reintroduce pampas deer, and then we can reintroduce tapirs. And by doing that, that increases our area of influence, and you can end up reintroducing jaguars, which was mission impossible. So you focus on what you can do, what you have control, and you expand your area of influence. Instead of worrying about lots of things that are outside of your control. The government is doing so and so and so, and Trump is an asshole. I don't know, okay. But that's outside of your control. Don't put so much energy on that, put energy on the things that you can control. That you have control over something doesn't mean that it's easy to act in the right way. This is also important. Just knowing that you have control, I mean, I have control on doing exercises like Jorge does every morning. I have full control on that. That doesn't mean that it's easy. I have control on reading, full control. That doesn't mean that it's easy. I have control on eating less or drinking less or having more parties or dancing more. That doesn't mean that it's easy, okay? It usually takes a lot of effort and discipline, but that's where you really make a difference. That's where you start becoming independent, okay? And that's also, remember, Xavier, and I think that's why I think it's good to connect things. He created this diagram of 4 things, and they were the group that were hard but important, okay? So focusing on the things that you have control is hard but important. It's very easy to worry about things that you have no control and to complain. It's the easiest way. And you feel that you are generous and you have huge empathy and you care about the world everywhere. But it's more relaxing to do that and to worry than to do exercise in the morning, to do meditation, to learn to play guitar, or learn GIS or anything that you think that is important for you. The habit two for organizations is to have a clear and inspiring vision. The best organizations are ones that really have a clear limit of what you can call it their business model, what's their approach, and at the same time it's inspiring, okay? So in this case, if I look at African Parks vision, I'm not very good with the difference between vision and mission. I may be dyslexic, but I really don't understand too much the difference. Everybody makes the difference. Everywhere it seems very important. But for me, it's the why, okay, the purpose. You can frame it as a vision or as a mission. But it seems to be the fashion that you have to differentiate in both. Okay, your why, okay, it has to be inspiring and it has to be clear. So this is an example. To ensure that each park it manages is ecologically, socially, and financially sustainable for the long term. It's kind of technical lingo, but what it says is we focus on parks and we make parks work. So that makes a very clear limit of the focus. They're starting to work outside of parks, but on the surrounding areas, okay? But they work in Africa, they work in parks, and they have a model, okay? We make them work, and we go for delegate management or whatever, okay? So it's inspiring. Yeah, because you manage a lot of parks in Africa and you manage them well, that's going to make a huge difference. Is it clear? Yeah, I know what you do and I know what you don't do, okay? This is one that I got from the internet, okay? This is one of the bingos, one of the big ones, okay? Our mission is to stop the degradation of our planet's natural environment and build a future in which humanity lives in harmony with nature. Is it inspiring? Yes. Is it clear? In my opinion, no. The problem when you have this kind of vision is that you can do anything, which means that you don't know exactly what you do. And that's dangerous for an organization. We're talking about organization, is similar with people. You don't have a clear compass of where you want to go. What's your focus? That means that if you start having a big office, you become a service provider. And at the end, you go for any grant opportunity, new fund, United Nations, GEF, wherever, because you need to maintain your staff and because you work for people and nature everywhere in the world. So you can do urban garbage, you can do cleaning rivers, you can do rhinos. I do rhinos because they are sexy and they bring me some popularity. I can work with big corporations so they change their footprint. It's huge. So you are lost in that sense as an organization. That's my opinion, okay? But that kind of matches with the idea of the offer, okay? I was looking at FCR's mission and vision, and I was looking Frankfurt Zoological Society conserves wildlife and ecosystems focusing on protected areas and outstanding wildlife, wild places. That mission is inspiring, and because I know them, I know, okay, they focus on large landscapes, they don't go for small areas, something that they have as part of their strategy, they don't work in the sea, so they are leaving things out, so they are focusing. Wild landscapes, large wilderness, and we focus on biodiversity. Okay, that's quite clear. Okay. They don't care if it's delegated management or the other one. I mean, they are adaptable in that sense. It's a different model, but clear enough for me. The vision for me is like, I mean, it could be written by them, by WWF, TNC, or most of them. It's kind of standard. But their mission is kind of clear enough. And it helps them to take decisions. So when they decide, are we going to work in Alto Tajo, or are we going to work in a new park in Africa, and they want to grow, at least they have a compass. There's this opportunity from, I don't know, family so-and-so. That's not what we do. It's great. I mean, some other people do it. There's this big fund for the ocean. The ocean is great. It's probably the most important part right now, but we don't do ocean. Okay, so that helps you to keep direction. So then we move to people, and that gets closer to our hearts, okay? Because organizations are kind of abstract entities, okay? So, okay, this comes from Covey's work, and it's like, you should take time to do your mission statement, okay? Write your mission statement that will guide you in life. So I read it, and of course it's like, wow, this is some American New Age thing, very good. Is this kind of, I don't know, and should I do it? I think maybe I try it or not, because it's like, oh, of course I know what's my mission. Okay, I'm gonna try it. And I even feel like a little blush here, like when you feel embarrassed to yourself, like nobody's watching you, but you're like, I'm gonna do it or not. So I gave it a try, okay? And I wrote this. No. It came out of kind of nowhere. Okay, so I wrote it. It's to learn to improve the life of the people that surround me while I improve the state of the natural world. Okay. And it's like looking to yourself from outside, like, why did I read that? Where did that come from? It came very naturally. It's like the moment I started writing, boom, boom. Wow, learn. That's me. Okay, so it implies that you are continually improving. That the way I see my mission is not a destination, it's a journey. And the journey never ends, okay? So you're always learning. Interesting. Clearly, first priority, the people around me. Okay? If I have to choose between saving the jaguar and my family, I know what's first. Okay, that's interesting. Okay? And then you start seeing all the people. I mean, today, you are the people that surround me. In 2 months, you are connected to, but right now, my mission is that you are okay, that you are good. So that's a priority. And then, while I improve the state of the natural world, so you have the affection and the relations, and then you have my profession, okay? And this thing of learning, I never thought about it, it's always continuous movement, okay? Xavier said that. To pass on beauty. Interesting. It's much more general than this, but gives him a sense of direction. And I'm sure that when he was deciding if he was coming here or not, he was thinking about that. Is this going to provide beauty to the world, that I go to Serengeti? And you always lose something, okay? In every decision, you probably he's losing money. He wasn't getting paid to come here. For me to come here is about this. Spending hours with you online, with sessions, which takes a lot of energy, it's about this. Do I learn? Do I improve the life of the people around me? Is it good for the natural world? An example is someone from the UK invited me to be part of the board of a British organization. I asked him, what does that imply? No, the board in England is also so, and you have to look at the the accounts, and you have financial responsibilities. And I said, no. And I was based on that. I mean, is that going to make the life of the people around me, including me, better? No, it's going to complicate my life. Is that going to have a huge impact on the natural world? I don't know. I mean, the UK is not my area of influence. Maybe they ask me from Madrid, maybe I will do it because I'm in Spain, okay? Am I going to learn a lot? I'm not sure. So this helps you, to what we're going to see later, to say yes or not. Because part of the key that we are getting is that you have to learn how to say no to many things. That's going to be habit 3, okay? Jorge, what do you think about the idea of them writing their mission statement? And we can stop there? Yeah. Okay? It's a good idea. Yeah. One of those to hold. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, what we're going to do now is just take time. We stop this. Yeah. That mobilized the people in. I mean, I was totally surprised by the effect that the talk had on the EP people. It never happened to me that on a talk. I mean, I usually give talks, they're popular, but people will, and this is something that touched everybody. It's management of time and energy. Everybody's worried about that. So this is kind of a trailer of what's coming, okay? So why don't you take 1 minute, okay, to think about your mission, okay? Don't feel embarrassed like I felt with myself. Surprises may happen, and then you can always tweak it, and just polish it later, okay? So think about what's important for you. Where do you want to go? Express it in a way that will guide you to take decisions in the future. Okay? Go for it.